If you went to kindergarten, you probably know the story of the ant and the grasshopper. It's one of the most reliable tools we use to teach kids the value of hard work. The setup is almost always exactly the same. You have the ants, who spend the entire summer doing back-breaking labor to gather food. And then you have the grasshopper, who spends his summer playing the fiddle, lounging in the sun, and living entirely in the moment. Eventually, the seasons change. Winter arrives, the snow falls, and the starving grasshopper knocks on the anthill to beg for a handout. The ants lock the door, leaving him out in the cold to freeze. It delivers a harsh, binary message. Either put your head down and prepare for the future, or deal with the disastrous consequences completely alone. The original fable values rugged individualism above all else, enforcing the idea that society has zero obligation to help anyone who refuses to participate in relentless labor. A popular Hindi retelling by the channel Kids One Hindi starts off following this exact blueprint. A carefree grasshopper spends his autumn days eating fresh grass, mocking a pigeon for worrying about the future and refusing to plan ahead. But then the story breaks the rules. Instead of a simple winter freeze, this version introduces accidental property damage, a violent home invasion, and a cross-species rescue mission. Curious, by tearing up Aesop's original script, this adaptation asks a much more interesting question. Why discard a simple lesson about self-reliance to build a complex blueprint for a community safety net? The shift starts with a tomato. The grasshopper finds one sitting on the ground and happily eats half of it, only to be confronted by 6 exhausted ants. It turns out they were trying to drag it home for winter, and it was so heavy they had to leave it behind to fetch reinforcements. Under the strict rules of the original fable, this is where the ants would write him off completely. He destroyed their hard work, and that would easily justify leaving him to starve. Instead, the grasshopper apologizes and leverages his own unique advantage. He flies to a nearby garden, knocks down 2 fresh tomatoes, and uses his size to roll both of them all the way to the anthill. This establishes a clear baseline of reciprocity. The ants have the organizational labor to forage, but the grasshopper has the physical strength and mobility to move heavy freight. By recognizing his mistake and actively replacing what he took, the grasshopper stops being a parasite. He proves he is a capable, contributing member of the local ecosystem. As the temperature drops, the ants stick to their proven strategy. They successfully hoard enough food to last the season and retreat deep into their burrow to wait out the cold. Then a completely unpredictable threat arrives. A gang of large, aggressive bully ants violently invades the burrow, demanding the workers evacuate and abandon their food. For all their careful planning and relentless summer work, the worker ants are entirely helpless. Having a massive stockpile of resources means nothing if a hostile force can simply walk in and take it. Relying solely on hoarding creates a fatal vulnerability. The bullies flee, and the worker ants' winter supply is secured. This is symbiotic defense in action. A community built entirely of individuals doing identical labor is fragile. Integrating different behaviors, risk tolerances, and skill sets creates a much stronger whole. The ants' survival required 2 completely different approaches. They needed their own meticulous planning to have food in the first place, but they needed the grasshopper's chaotic freedom and brute strength to actually keep it. Eventually, the real winter hits hard. The grasshopper finds himself starving, his wings completely frozen stiff in the wind. His carefree philosophy of living entirely in the moment proves to be completely inadequate for survival. Unable to fly, he is swept away by a brutal gust of cold air, tumbling to past the snow until he crashes directly into the entrance of the ants' burrow. The ants immediately recognize the insect who fought for them. They pull him inside, light a fire from their hoarded wood, and feed him a prized green guava leaf to restore his strength. He didn't put a single blade of grass away for the cold, but because he invested his energy into cross-species relationships and mutual aid, the ants gladly served as his ultimate winter insurance policy. Sitting safely by the fire, the grasshopper admits his mistake. He promises the ants that when the seasons turn again, he will adopt some of their foresight and help gather food for the winter. Hard work and preparation are absolutely necessary to survive a harsh environment, but no amount of solo grinding can offer a guaranteed shield against unpredictable disasters. Foresight and labor might keep an individual fed on a quiet day, but when the environment turns hostile, diverse community reciprocity is what actually keeps everyone alive.